So emotions can be understood as objective responses in the body that can be measured by others. An emotion guides us in the process of decision making, judgment, and reasoning. The emotion gives us information about how we are, if we are fine or not, or to understand what we need. Emotions therefore communicate to us and others about our lives. For example, in a new situation such as the first day of school, we will try to decide whether this is good, safe, positive, or dangerous for us. While we are approaching the new event, we may experience surprise, disgust, or happiness, emotion that will guide our reaction and behaviors. When we got back home and the situation has come to a conclusion, we may experience embarrassment, jealousy, envy, or pride, feelings that have been accrued after giving a meaning to the experience. Some of these reactions are innate and universal. Some others are learned through the individual interpretation and the cultural influence. So, when it comes to emotions, we come to a complex biopsychosocial world. During the first 3-4 years of life, certain knowledge is acquired, especially about what I feel. Thanks to the continuous exchanges that the child has with the reference figures, children can gain a feeling of basic trust, self-worth, emotional competence, intimacy, and needs regulations. But when it comes to adverse experiences, there can be continuous situations such as neglect, or situational like violence and abuse. This is an important variable to evaluate. Usually, continuous traumatic experiences may be more severe and difficult for the individual. In any case, even single and occasional experiences can have important consequences on emotional development. The emotional suffering is one of the signs that allow us to think about a possible sexual abuse or a generalized traumatic experience has occurred. Possible emotional signals can be crying without evident reasons, irritability, outbursts of anger, mood swings, despair, anxiety, hyperactivity, hypervigilance, insecurity, hostility, aggression, impulsivity, sexual gains, and behaviors like sleep disorders, feeding disorders, learning and language disorders, or excessive fears, avoidance of people or places, phobias, changes in school performance, refusal to undergo medical examination, or regressive behaviors and self-harm. As you can see, they are all specific symptoms regarding the emotional sphere that are not related only to sexual abuse. So what to do? The difficult part is that any change in behavior, emotional expression, and somatic symptoms must be taken seriously and explored as possible sign of distress. Sometimes it is helpful to seek professional assistance, either advice for the caretakers or for examination of the child. Moreover, a good suggestion is always to spend time with the child. It helps if you already have developed a relationship of trust and support for the child. Children should feel welcome to talk with adults, and they may need help to find the right words to describe their suffering. In the case of abuse, it would be better to avoid words that may scare, such as rape. Using reassuring and supporting phrases such as, "You were brave to talk about this," reinforces and motivates your child to open up more to you about what happened. It is important to avoid inquiries about what happened. It is important not to make assumptions about the identity of the suspect, as they will confuse victims. Be honest and only make promises that you can keep. Do not, for example, agree to keep a secret. Um, in this case, it should be explained to the child that some secret must be shared to help someone or prevent other people from being hurt. A child who has been abused needs to be treated with dignity and respect. It is important to remain calm and not express reaction of shock, revulsion, or moral outrage. The children will become frightened as they are not fully aware of the extent of what has happened to them. It is also important to avoid expressing disapproval of the alleged perpetrator. You should avoid feeling the silences. Do not correct or challenge the child by saying, for example, "Are you sure it was your father?" Uh, do not force the child to show physical injuries or feelings they do not want to share. Allow them to express any kind of feelings, to feel secure and understood. Respect their boundaries and ask for their consent. For example, "Can I hug you?" Consent is the ability to give informed consent to sexual relations. In other words, consent is being able to decide whether it is a yes or a no when it comes to a sexual experience. In sexual abuse, there is the involvement of children in sexual acts that they do not fully understand, to which they are unable to consent. A child is used to do as the adults say. Individual maturity and experience grow as the child getting older. In order to prepare children to pay attention to their emotion and will, there are many activities that can be done to help them to develop their ability to request and consent to the activities they want to do. For example, a popular exercise at school involves the morning greeting routine with the teachers. In the attached test document to this course, you will find some links that show you this practice. So which are the home message for this unit? In order to equip children with all the tools to grow up healthy and be able to cope with stress and trauma, it is important to promote an adequate emotional development. Therefore, it is important to normalize and allow space for emotional expression so children can learn how to recognize their emotions. At the same time, it is important to nurture children on both relational and emotional levels, reassuring them when they are afraid, comforting them when they are sad, making them feeling welcome and valid in their emotional expression. Hence, the importance of emotional education aimed not only at children but also at teachers and caregivers to work on all these aspects: male and female development, communication, and expression of emotion and consent.